All right, welcome back, ladies and germs, all that good stuff. So we've got a little bit to talk about today, so I'm going to keep this intro brief. So welcome back. Anyway, we're going to talk about controller versus wheel on this game specifically, okay? Now, I grew up playing on controller. You guys watching me, I'm 9 times out of 10 on wheel, okay? Very, very, very rarely am I ever on controller, okay? In this race specifically, I am on controller because it is just so much easier to get through these races with controller because it just feels like all of the assists are on, but like there's no assist to really turn on other than like traction control, which is weird, but whatever, it is what it is, okay? And with controller, it's just so much, I guess, more responsive because of like the steering assists and everything. And it's just like playing this game on cheat mode, if I'm being totally honest. Like, don't get me wrong, I could go through my wheel settings and probably map this out to be equally as assisted, right? But like, I'm not going to do all that because I have everything set up for Assetto Corsa, right? So like, everything that transfers over, I just adjust the in-game settings. And this game is just monstrous, like just dangerously easy on controller, okay? And that's pretty much all I'm gonna say about it, because like there is this whole controller versus sim thing on who has the most knowledge and blah 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 blah. And it's like, okay, look, I already said it earlier, I'm gonna say it again. I grew up playing these racing games on controller, okay? It is way easier on controller than it is on a sim, okay? On a sim, there's just more that goes into it with hand-eye coordination and like feeling out your braking. You have to be way more detailed because like you use your hands and fingers all day, whether it's writing, whether it's grabbing things, moving things, right? So of course you are going to be very intricate with the way you use your hands and fingers. That sounded worse than I needed it to. Anyway, moving on. Oh God, that was close. Oh. And that's the other thing. There's so many close calls where like it's just like a flick of a switch, where it's like instead on a wheel you're like cranking it all the way, like a whole 180 to like move out of the way real quick. And maybe that's the game, right? But regardless, to anybody watching me that is on a controller, you guys have it so good, okay? You guys have it so good, okay? So. Ooh, dang, you see, okay, I would never have been able to do that on a wheel, okay? And that is my own lack of driver skill right there, okay? Because that would have been devastating, 1000%. And this game, even with all the updates, can still be a bit grindy, right? Like, I'm only level 8, okay? Like, and it is what it is. And that car was hovering there, okay? I hope you guys all saw that. That was super weird. And later on in the video, I hit literally nothing. So, moving on to the next topic, because I could probably talk that to death. So, we are going to briefly talk about my dad, okay? Now, my dad is I think the term is called overlanding. Basically, you build a souped up 4x4 and you take it out camping through like hundreds of miles, and like you four-wheel in the middle of it, which is just off-roading at a high level, like climbing over rocks. Like these guys, for my car nuts who know what I'm about to say here, okay, he's rocking like 35-inch tires, super raised, suspension, and very, very expensive stuff underneath. Okay, so it's take that for what you will. For those of you who are not my car nuts, big car goes over rocks, vroom vroom. Okay, that's what we're gonna call that right now. So anyway, he initially got me into racing. Like the youngest memory I have is like go-karting, legit. Okay, that's where I really got into it, and then I got Gran Turismo 1 on PlayStation 1, and that was, that's this whole other thing. And in this video, if we skip to about 30 seconds, one of the first really cool cars my dad ever had. I mean, none of his cars are cool. Don't get ahead of yourself, Dad. One of the coolest cars I think my dad ever owned was this. is a Nissan 300ZX. Okay, and it's got a V6. It is pretty light, stock, and I am a sucker for the flip-up headlights, and I just think this car is all kinds of cool. So I got it in game, and this is the exact model we had too, like with the, or not we, but he had, with the pop-off roof on each side, and like the works. Okay, the only thing different is when I go into first mode later in the game, there's a digital dash instead of the analog, which was pretty crazy. And if you're a Nissan Z fan and you know what I'm talking about, it's, if you know, it's a really interesting thing, and it was pretty ahead of its time. So the beautiful thing about this car, though, in this game, is it's just cheap enough to where you can go through and see what I bought, and I'm not gonna turn up like the tuning speed. I am gonna leave the markers underneath the video, so if that's not something you want to see, go ahead and skip to the next part. But the little amount of tuning I had to do to this car was actually pretty phenomenal. All I did was get an intake and better suspension. I lowered it and I increased the steering angle to about 54. And even before any mods, you could get this thing sideways a little bit. It's nothing crazy, but if you were to take it down a mountain, it would be, more than enough. And so all you need is the welded diff. I mean, you guys will see. I'm not gonna keep talking. You guys are probably sick of hearing my voice anyway. I've been talking for 6.5 minutes straight. So like, subscribe, comment, and thanks, Dad. Bye. See you in the next video.